Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Greetings to everyone. Before we begin, let us watch a short video clip prepared by Madam Asmaniza binti bersama from Pusat Tingkatan 6 SMK Keladi. Enjoy the video, viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, we had carried out an online mock interview together with 23 interviewers from Penang and Kedah. We invited 2 engineers from the industry, a quantity surveyor, a human resource director, officers of acquisition, and analyst officer, motivator, freelance consultant, teachers, and lecturers. It's involved a smart partnership with Lumileds Sdn Berhad, Inocom Corporation, BAT Sdn Berhad, ABH Mega Sdn Berhad, UITM Kedah, Malaysian Spanish Institute Unique Kulim High-Tech, Politeknik Tuanku Sultanah Bahiyah, Sekolah Menengah Taman Jelutong, College Vocational Kulim, and of course, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Keladi. We also invited special and talented individuals to help our students to experience a simulation of an online interview. 5 schools did participate, namely from 6 students from Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Sungai Ko, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Serdang, Sekolah Menengah Sultan Ahmad Tajuddin, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Labu Besar, and from 5 and from 6 students of Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Keladi. Thank you very much to all of the interviewers for your valuable time and effort. Double thumbs up. Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I to all again. Welcome to the highly immersive program, Coffee Talk, Tips for Online Interview with Madam Wan Ilham, binti Wan Sulaiman, the Human Resource Director of Lumileds Malaysia Sdn Berhad, Penang. I am Madam Aisha Othman, live from PPD Kuliah Bandar Baru, together with Madam Kogila Ramakrishnan, SISC Kelas Bahasa, and Mr. Izham Yusof, penolong PPD Sumber Teknologi Pendidikan. Welcome viewers, students, and teachers. We are glad to have you today. I would like to express my utmost gratitude to the committee members from Pusat Tingkatan 6 Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Keladi. Just to name a few, Cikgu Niza, Cikgu Syarul Isman, Cikgu Nur Aini, Cikgu Kalsum, Cikgu Zul, and everyone involved with this project. You know who you are. I'm sorry I cannot mention all the names. It's quite lengthy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me send you a warm regards from Puan PPD Kuliah Bandar Baru, Encik Zulkifli bin Muhammad, and his deputy, Tuan Haji Hamdi Muhammad Ali. Also, a warm welcoming and salam TS 25 from Tuan Haji Ahmad Baharudin, the principal of Pusat Tingkatan 6 Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Keladi Kulim, and senior assistant of Pusat Tingkatan 6 SMK Keladi. That is who is Puan Wan Ilham. Alhamdulillah, thank you Allah for giving us this opportunity to share new information with the teachers and students. I'd like to say Happy Teachers Day or belated Teachers Day to all of the teachers all over Malaysia. Alright, so please everyone, teachers and students, like and subscribe our PPD channels. Not only that, viewers, please write down your name, your school's name, and also write down the state that you are presenting, okay, so that we can know where you are from. Viewers, please write your questions or share your experience and comments in the chat box provided. Okay, it's okay if you don't want to use English language. If you want to use Malay language, students, no problem. Okay, we will try to entertain all the questions. All right, and you can also share your experience and your comment in the chat box provided. We will look at your question or comments during the questioning and answering session. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce our special guest, the one and only Madam Wan Ilham binti Wan Sulaiman, Human Resource Director from Lumileds Sdn. Okay, Madam Ilham, are you there? Okay, so it is about Madam Ilham, the one and only. Madam Wan Ilham binti Wan Sulaiman has a vast experience as the Human Resource Director in Lumileds Sdn. She has 25 years of experience in the area of human resource management. She graduated with Bachelor of Human Resource Management and Hotel Industry Management from KDU University from the Strategic Business School. She has 4 beautiful children with her loving husband. Madam Ilham was once a piano teacher who has completed grade 8. Madam Ilham, you are an artist. Her passion or hobbies involving outdoor activities, where she did hike up Mount Kinabalu not only once but twice. What a great experience. Lastly, Madam Wan Ilham can speak fluent Hokkien. Amazing, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin our coffee talk entitled Tips for Online Interview. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Madam Ilham, how are you today?
Hey, Waalaikumsalam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah,
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for being here with us. We really appreciate it. Alhamdulillah. Now, Madam Ilham, my first question is, what are the differences between online interview and face-to-face interview session? Okay, the floor is yours. Go on.
Okay, so Puan Aisyah, allow me to start. Can I kick off?
Yes.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. To all fellow students, educators, and whoever else is out there. My name is Wan Ilham binti Wan Sulaiman. I am representing Lumileds Malaysia Sdn, and had been with the organization since 2016 until to date as the site lead of HR. And this organization is in Penang, and I'll share a little bit about the company shortly. And as Puan Aisyah had mentioned, I had about 25 years of experience, and I am 2 years nearing to start the 5 series. So you can guess how young I am. Yeah, and firstly, I would like to also thank Cikgu Aisyah Osman from SMK Keladi, and Cikgu Izham, the person behind the scene, from PPD Kulim, Bandar Baharu, for today's live streaming preparation and organizing today's session. And unforgetting Cikgu Aniza, thank you for this morning's setup for the mock interview with the 5 great students of Sultan Ahmad Tajuddin. Thank you very much. And we also have other participating schools like SMK Labu Besar, Sungai Kop, Keladi, Sultan Ahmad Tajuddin, as well as Serdang. And I welcome everyone else here today. Okay, so today's session, I believe, would be beneficial for 2 group of viewers, both students and teachers, where you could put these tips into good use during multiple sessions, especially like internship programs, university admission, scholarship, job placement, and as for teachers, for promotion opportunities, industry placement, as well as maybe perhaps overseas job posting. Now, one of the main objective of today's session of HIP, or you call it highly immersive program, is the intention of wanting to help and elevate you to another level in preparing you for the next phase. Yeah. So I will be sharing some salient points, and my request from all of you is at least to take back 10%. I'm not asking for 100%, only 10% from today's sharing that you could put in your mind and also execute this when it's needed. Yeah, and my hope that other education institutions, especially schools, polytechnics, and also universities, will follow and conduct similar paths like today, make use of all networking and relationship that you have with the industry players, especially those in manufacturing, services, telecommunication, healthcare, to help our future generation. Yeah. So with this, I'm going to be sharing my slide. I have prepared some slides, and I hope you will enjoy this session. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, give me a second. Encik Izham, could I queue if you could see my screen now? Or Puan Aisyah, could somebody queue if my screen is visible? Puan Aisyah, could you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, it's there. You can start to present.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, this is the first page of my slide, and the topic for today is tips for online interview. And thanks again to SMK Keladi and PPD Kulim Bandar Baharu. And this is the factory where I'm working, where I'm attached to. It's called Lumileds Malaysia Sdn Berhad, and this factory is in Penang, yeah, in the industrial zone of Pine Lepas. Okay, so it's going to be a sharing session from me to all of you, and I hope it could be in good use, as I've mentioned, for a couple of reasons above. Okay, talking about Lumileds, where do we come from and what's the background of the company? We have approximately 9,000 over employees all over 30 countries, and we actually headquarters in San Jose in US. We have factories all over the world, in San Jose, in Singapore, in China, in France, Germany, in everywhere else. Yeah. So in Penang, where I am stationed, we have approximately about 3,000 employees. 3,000 employees consist of multiple employees coming from different cultures and races. Okay, now some of you may be thinking or wondering, what is Lumileds? What do we do? You may not be familiar, but I would like to bring in the name of Philips. I think Philips would be a bit familiar to all of you. Philips are the home appliances that many of us today are using. For example, the washing machine or other home appliances that we have. But then Lumileds has Philips has spin off from Lumileds, and we are on our own right now. So we provide solutions as part of everyday life in multiple items, such as vehicles, we are there, our presence is there. In phones, in iPhones, we are there. We are also involved with the solutions in the IoT, in buildings, in the retailings, and also the outdoor space in stadiums. So we are everywhere, not only home appliances. Yeah. Okay, this is the start of my topic for today. Now, the process of interview to me is actually to find a good employee, and this is to single out the one employee that employer would like to hire. Yeah, so a good characteristic of a good son and a good daughter will be a good employee. Okay, so if you still have parents today, or one of them, you are actually blessed. Yeah, so please cherish them all, and please take care of these parents. You don't know how lucky you are, and you must be grateful that you still have them today. Now, there's a reason why I'm sharing this page. As at the end of the slide, I will actually relate why a good son and a good daughter is a good employee. Yeah, so bear with me. But this is definitely a phrase that I carry and I cherish, especially to my direct reports. We must be a good son and a good daughter. Okay, now preparing for a successful interview. Now this is actually preparing you for a session because there will be many rounds of interviews, and most importantly, I would like all of us to understand the concept of rezeki. Rezeki comes from God, yeah, and He will only give you what is best. So then, just be prepared for a successful interview. Okay, now this is a must do for each and every one of us in preparing for interviews, in preparing for presentation. The first thing is a research. You must do research. Secondly, planning. You must be engaged into planning. And thirdly, you must practice whatever that you intend to be presenting or conducting the interview. This is the main key thing that you must do: a research, you must do planning, and you must practice. Okay, now why I relate to this page is because from a 15 years of studies example, many of the jobs today does not exist yet from those time when you were in primary school. Yeah, so for example, the autonomous vehicle, where cars could be driven by itself. Now, 15 or 20 years ago, we did not think of this autonomous vehicle, none. But today, we end up having engineers in projects of autonomous vehicle. And the other example would be the black boxy phones, the old phones that perhaps the teachers would know, but not the youngsters today. So today, this black box phones doesn't exist, yeah? So which means 15 or 20 years down the road, our children will actually end up with jobs that they have never thought of or that has never been created. Yeah, so that is one of the reasons why today people don't wear watches and people don't have alarm clocks. Yeah, why? It's because we rely heavily on handphones. Yeah, so you don't use any more watches right now. You try to avoid wearing watches. You don't have alarm clocks. You don't need alarm clocks. It's because we rely heavily on handphones. Yeah, which means technology has emerged. Things are changing and evolving. Okay, now there are a couple of types of interviews in today's world. There are structured interview. This is more of the formal kind of interview. We have the unstructured interview. This is sessions like having coffee talks or an informal, but please do not take it lightly, students, because this is also about assessing session. Yeah, people, interviewers will be assessing you during unstructured interview. Now, the stress interview is it's also present and it's usually slot into structured interview. This is to see whether you can actually take stress or not, or how is the tolerance level into stress and how much you can actually take stress. Yeah. Now, the behavioral interview, this is very widely and commonly used. And the panel interview can be a group of people online or in person. And the impromptu career fair would be something familiar to especially young graduates, yeah, where they will be going around walking with their CVs. And usually it's going to be a very quick and brief session and followed by a structured interview. Okay, next is the working interview. Working interview is more of to assess, to see what you are doing, to see whether you fit to the job or not. This is a working interview, yeah. Okay, and the group interview. Now, group interview would be mainly candidates like you grouped together to see how you interact with each other and how you participate in interview. Like for example, this morning session where we have a group of 5 students or 4 students. So this is actually assessing how you respect, how you listen, how you pay attention, or how you depict from the answers that is being shared by your friends. Yeah. And we also have the lunch interview. Yeah, lunch interview, you don't have to worry because of paying, because usually lunch interview is organized by the interviewer and is usually paid for. Now, there are also some sessions for senior positions like CEO, or we have positions like VP or president of the company, but usually these interviews are unstructured. It's not unlikely to be a structured interview. It's just going to be informal interview. And for the lower job categories, this would just be usually a chat first and then only checking into a structured interview. Okay, so mainly these are the types of interviews available in today's market. Okay, why this page? Why this page? The importance of this page, yeah, is to show that there are just so many people out there applying for the job. And you are the one in yellow. You are the one you must be standing out. So today's session, I hope will prepare you for the yellow person in this picture to see how you stand out among the rest. Okay? Okay, now this page is to talk about the framework. Now, when you go into the interview, I know all of you know this, yeah, but this is just to run through that these are what you need to know and give you a glance of your conduct, of your own conduct, yeah. So you have to be prepared. You have to be punctual. This morning during the mock interview, there was a student who was very early. This is a very good start, very good initiative. Now, item number 3, you have got to think before you speak. Yeah, don't just blurt out, but give yourself a few seconds and think before you speak. Next, you need to speak clearly, cohesively, and calmly. And you also need to be confident, not in arrogance. Arrogance is something that interviewers do not like, and it's a very turn-off character. Please do not be arrogant, even if you think you know more than the interviewer. Do not be arrogant at any point of time. And please pay attention, listen well, and express gratitude where you have to thank or to say thank you or to say nice things to the interviewer. Please do express it out. Okay? Okay, this is the next page talking about things that you should avoid. Yeah, so now the main key thing here is don't think that online interviewers can't see you. But facial expression is very important, and it's also considered the body language. Yeah, so do not say things like "I don't know," but always impress the interviewer by saying "I will find out." Yeah, so body language is very important. Don't be hesitant in your answering, and don't ask for promotions. We have sometimes young rookies coming for interviews, who will be asking, "When can I become the manager? When can I become a director?" You will need to go through the journey. So do not ask for things too highly ambitious. Step by step, flow with the flow. Yeah. And the other thing, also generation-wise, my advice to all of you, please make sure phone is on mute. Do not let the phone ring. You need to actually pay attention and focus. Yeah. Now, when I say pay attention and focus, I would like to just share what happened last night. Just a short story with all of you. Talking about paying attention, yeah. So as I was also preparing myself for today's session, I was preparing, and my youngest son actually came by next to me, and he said, "Mom, what are you doing? Mama, what are you doing?" So I told him, that I'm participating in today's session, blah, blah, blah. So he says, "Come, you want to rehearse? Do you want to read out so that I can listen?" And this is just a little boy, a 10-year-old boy. So I said, "Okay." So what I literally did was I did the introduction to him, so-called in the mode of introducing myself in the beginning. So one of the things that this little boy told me was, "Mama, you need to pay attention. If at all I were to pass by next to you or my brother were to pass by next to you, you don't look at us, okay? You pay attention." So this is very important. Paying attention, paying focus is very important. Yeah, and don't be rude. Even if you disagree with the interviewer, don't be rude. Yeah, politely tell him. Okay. Okay, and then talking about the promotions, Generation Y students, I'm sorry, but we tend to be very ambitious, which is good, but again, step by step. Yeah, I would like to depict on myself. I did not become a site lead or HR director overnight. Believe me, it is a pure hard work and sweat to come to this stage, and it is still challenging even until today. Yeah. Okay, so we will be covering the what is online interview. These are some of the contents that we will go through, and I hope it will be of enlightening to you and helpful. Okay, so in today's digital world, and because of the new norm, all kind of modes, working structure online has to be reversed to become online interviews. Yeah, so now some big multinational companies, for your information, when you enter the interview session, either via Skype, Zoom, or whatever methods, they would have some video conference room that will look seamlessly as though you're actually in the interview room. Yeah, there are some big MNCs. Okay, so please take note, when you have online interviews, converse to them like a normal person interview. Okay, and we actually applaud, employers applaud this kind of digital interviews is because it reduces your transportation costs. Yeah, and it also speed up the interviewing process. And we are also able to interview candidates from KL, from maybe Sarawak or even overseas. You don't have to travel to the place. Yeah, so digital interviews in this new era is actually good. Yeah. Okay, now tip number 1: before the appointment, make sure you ask the interviewer the kind of interview to expect. Yeah, either it's a video call, it's an audio or video. So make sure it's clear. And the time zone. Time zone is very important because I come from an MNC based in San Jose. Sometimes we interview candidates in India, we interview candidates in the Philippines, in every part of the world. Now you can also be smart into asking the interviewer, yeah, to ask, hey, Mr. So and so, are you in Malaysia? So if the person says yes, I'm in Malaysia, you could deduce that, of course, the time zone is similar to where you are. Yeah. So these are some of the smarter or politer way into asking, instead of direct question asking what time zone, but you could position to ask your interviewer if he is actually in Malaysia. Okay. Okay. Now video calls. It is actually important to tell the interviewer if you are not able to meet to the dates or schedule, if you need to change for the reason of unstable network, you need to change because of some instability with the data. So it's okay for you to tell. Unless, other than that, please accommodate to the interview sessions that has been selected. Okay, and be familiar with all the gadgets. Example, sharing of screen. Sometimes when you talk, you mention that you have projects that you have done or pictures that a print screen that you would like to share. So be familiar with things like sharing screen or other kind of mode to show a webcam and things like that. So it is very important to be familiar with the device that you will be presenting, and it's good to have a backup, at least a handphone to be with you in case there's any kind of malfunction. Yeah, and it is also good to find a quiet space and notify your parents, your spouses, or your children that mama will be in a session. Please, less distraction. But if at all somebody were to walk past behind you, your parents or your grandmother, do not be rude to chase them off. Do not be rude to your little boy who's jumping behind your back. Suddenly if he comes, it's okay, because all this impression, all this conduct of yours will create an impression to the interviewer. Yeah, I have actually spoken to my VP of HR. While we were talking, it's discussing of some points. Her cat jumped over her. So it is only natural to shoo the cat away, but again, not like taking the cat and throwing it away. All this little conduct of yours implies you as a person. Yeah, so even if a mother come to you, your mother comes to you, diplomatically tell her, Mom, I'm having a session, and also tell the interviewer that I'm sorry. Do not shoo the person away. Please make sure your conduct is well. Yeah, and be confident. Smile. It's important to make the eye contact. Yeah, because you're online, so it's important. Eye contact is very important. Okay. Now, this slide will actually show you that all will be covered during the interview. These are all the experiences, all the things that will be in during your interview. And again, you must stand out among others. This is to help you to stand out. Okay. Now, talking about preparation, you must again be reminded to do the 3 things that I have depicted earlier. Number 1 is research, must do. Planning, must do. Number 3, must do. Now, it is important for you to find out key information about the company. Go onto company website, go onto social media posting, read out press releases, ask friends, teachers, check out all information that you could about the company and also the interviewer. Now, this is vice versa. The interviewer will also check on you into your LinkedIn. Interviewer will also checks on you onto your Facebook, into your Instagram. Yeah, because we have done so, so we know it's also important. So my request to all of you, students and teachers or whoever who's listening, paying attention, make sure whatever that you post in FB, you post in Instagram, represents you in the right way. Okay, it is very important because employees do refer, do make background check to see what you post, to see the conduct of the person. Yeah. Okay, this is part two of the preparation. So tell me about yourself, why you're interested in this role. These are all very important questions. So please practice and make sure it is the right thing, that what you're going to be articulating and sharing with the interviewer. These are common questions. Yeah. Okay. Now back again to the questions where tell me about yourself. Now, they frequently ask at the beginning, both either in person or it could be online. Now, when they say, walk me through your resume, it can also ask in a way by, please describe yourself. It is the same question. Now, it is very important to make that first impression. And also, talking about your CV, okay? You do not expect your CV to tell everything. No. Sometimes in the CV, certain things are being missed out. So it is important for you to pick out, to pull out the key important things from the CV. Or the other thing is you should not refer to say, I have written it in the CV. Could you refer it to the CV? No. Yeah. So please bring it out, pull whatever that you need to share with the interviewer. Okay. And remember, key thing, when you talk to the interviewer, you must assume that you are already working in the company, because it sets a different tone when you assume that you're already working in the company. Is because you're putting yourself in the shoe, putting yourself into what you would do and how you would help this interviewer. So it is important to put yourself in the shoe of an employee in the company already. Okay, it's very important. Okay, tell me about yourself again. I would like to remind again all of us, as in not to brag too much about ourselves, and you must always watch the body language of the interviewer to see whether he's boring or any kind of facial expression from the interviewer that would help you to perhaps change or stop or bring about any other questions or topics to the interviewer. Okay, so you must actually explain your current role. What do you do? And share your highest achievements and what responsibility do you do. Okay, and it's good to summarize what were the previous experience and how it has helped you to become who you are today. Yeah. So for example, if now I'm working in Lumileds, but Lumileds is not important, but my previous company, as in working in Flex or working in Celestica or the other companies, share what you had done. Yeah. Okay, now for students, now you do not have experience. I myself had gone through this experience. I myself was frustrated at one point of time. It's because many interviews I've gone, the first main response that I receive is, I'm sorry, you don't have the experience. So I got agitated, I got frustrated, questions come out like that. Why do you call me for interview if I don't have experience? I cried, mom had to console me, Now, so what you can do, I learned from there on, and what you can do for fellow students, yeah, it is good for you to talk about your extracurricular activities. What do you do? Yeah, what kind of role do you play? Do you play a leadership role? And what kind of organizing event that you had organized? What kind of association that you had helped up? Yeah, so talk about these few things. Yeah, as a fresh graduate, you don't have experience. You have got to talk about the items I mentioned, 4 items as a student. How can you sell? Yeah, even for example, walking about along the neighborhood, maybe for example, you have coordinated a 3R program, reduce, recycle, reuse program at the neighborhood. Talk about these things, how you organize, how you lead, who are the involved parties that you associate with. So these are the good things that you can talk about. So do not get demoralized to say, I'm fresh, I've got no experience, I cannot compete with the other market. Yeah, no. Okay. Now, what quality make you a great fit for this role? These are some questions that interviewer will ask you. Now, please do not talk about other things that is not relevant or related to the job. Yeah, you need to connect with the job that you're applying so that there is a connection. If you're applying for HR job, don't talk about things that is not related to HR. If you're applying for an engineer's role, do not talk about things that is not really talking about sales to an engineer's role. So talk about the associated topics when this type of questions is being asked. Yeah, your years of experience, what do you do, what are the desired specialization that you have, trainings, exposure that you've had, to relate to the job description of the position and what you can do. Yeah, the associate. Now, for students, these are what you could talk about. You could speak about your role. You were a president once in society, or you were a treasury, or you were a secretary. Yeah, and speak about the sports that you participated. Speak about the hobbies, the interests, the teamwork, and whatnot. Yeah. So for this portion, I actually applaud the schools. Yeah, that is why school has co-curriculum. Yeah, I really applaud the teachers and the schools on these co activities. This is actually to develop leadership. It also helps to see your collaboration, your teamwork, and it helps to instill a better communication. Yeah. Now, students, please understand, and parents too. Schools don't do co-curriculum for no reason. I think teachers would have other better things to do. So COCO is very important. It's actually preparing you for this portion of the other part of just not academic, but also how you prepare yourself for interviews is very important. Now, again, I would like to relate to myself. I was once into back then I think they call it a Red Crescent or Red Cross. We organized marchings, or you call it parades, from school to school. We had to call some VIPs for the events. I remembered I was from Convent BM back then. A teacher, Puan Wan Ilham, I still remember. So she was one of the teachers who gave in COCO, who was very motivating, very inspiring. Not only during COCO, she keeps on mentioning that it's just not COCO. It's how you organize event, how you pull your Red Crescent members to do activities, how you get them to organize competition. So I will still remember until today these words of encouragement from Puan Wan Ilham. So co-curriculum to me is important. It helps students in a different way, a different angle. Okay, why are you interested in this role? Now, I would like to give you a real life example. Yeah, there are engineers who have actually applied for some jobs. Yeah, now smart engineers or different engineers would actually try to relate if he or she has a different skill. For example, I'm going for an engineer's job, but I have taken up a chargeman certificate. Yeah, a chargeman or additional professional certificates. Okay, now make sure you sell this criteria during the interview. Make sure you tell the interviewer that you have taken up some judgment. This would show that you have the mindset of wanting to improve yourself and that you're interested in this role, but at the same time, you want to also learn up some other position. Yeah, so it is important to depict this. Now, I've put in a book here for reference to all of you. It's called Good to Great. It's from Jim Collins. Now, this is a famous business management book. Now, why I'm sharing this to all of you is to show that nothing stops you from learning. Yeah, it describes specific steps actually that enables good companies to blossom to become greater companies. So that is why it's called from good to great. So even if today you're an engineer, not enough. Do not stop. Aspire to be a manager. Aspire to be a director. Aspire to be a president. So that is what it means from good to great. Okay, so now why I put in here, you could see type of company, be on key operation. So for example, if you are working in a manufacturing, be on the front line of a manufacturing. If you're working in the banking industry, be a bank manager. If you're working in a medical industry, be a high ranking position. That is what we want to move on. And this is what the book is trying to say. Good for moving from good to great. Yeah, it's a never a stoppage. It's a lifelong learning. It's a full conduct or to get involved with job rotation as much as you can. Learn and relearn. So this page tells you that nothing stops. Continuous learning is important. Okay. Okay. Now, the question that some of you may be asked, Why are you interested in the company or in the industry? This is basic. This question is common and it's always asked. Now, again, I would like to relate to myself because it's easier to talk. Now, you could share things like I like or I would like to apply a job in your company is because Lumileds is a high tech company, yeah, and that you could probably you could learn and grow with the company. There are a lot of opportunities and career development that I've seen in your website, yeah, and I see that there are a lot of good social responsibility that Lumileds is doing. So these are some of the examples that you could share of why you're interested to work in the company. So that is why, again, the three topics that I mentioned earlier, the research, the planning, and the practice is important. Okay, it's very important. Okay, next one. Now, what are the positive traits? I think I've asked this question to the students also, or characteristic you possess that you think would serve you well in this role. Now, try to depict on previous bosses that could describe you. So in your interviews, tell them, I've worked with, for example, Mrs. Chow or whoever bosses that you have worked with, and he has described me to be da 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 person. So relate it to someone. You don't brag about yourself, but you brag yourself with an evidence. Yeah. Okay, now this is another book that I would like to share with all of you. Why I'm sharing books, two books already so far, because again, like I mentioned, learn, relearn. It's a good, this book. This is a self-improvement book. It's telling you of how you should change, yeah, to change your perception in a given situation and how you should advance yourself. So change is important. I will encourage all of you to read this self-improvement book to help you, yeah, in preparing yourself for interviews in everyday life. Now, one of the things during interviews is please conduct integrity. Yeah, do not lie. Talk about integrity, especially in American companies, especially attending interviews with a foreigner, as in an American or other culture. It is important to display or portray integrity because this is widely harped upon because we have values. So it is important to portray that you are a person with high integrity and that you're a person with high values. Yeah, values, for example, you can talk about I am a very innovative person. I have good collaboration. Yeah, I work as a teamwork and I work with customer oriented or quality in mind. So these are some of the values that you could actually depict and speak about during your interviews. Okay. Okay. Now, I would like to share also another life story of when I was interviewing a person relating to this question. Is there something unique about you that makes you stand out from other applicants? Okay, this is actually my HR analyst, training L&D analyst, Madam Sok Cheng. I think she was also one of the interviewer during this mock interview. Now, she's my HR person, but let me share with you, she has a degree in engineering electronics, and she was previously a customer quality engineer. So when I interviewed her with another colleague of mine, so she actually mentioned this unique feature to me. So imagine what would my response be? I was definitely attracted. I was definitely pleased to hear that she has this degree in engineering electronics and that she had a customer quality engineer. Why? It's because HR is not only dealing with HR, but HR deals with a lot of various stakeholders coming from quality background, coming from engineering background, coming from product, coming from R&D. So having a person, an engineer, working with me in HR, do you think is an advantage for me? It is definitely. So I'm putting you in this model. So if at all you have certain skills, please share this out. Please relate this to the interviewer. Okay, if you could play some musical instruments, or if you could, I don't know what other special thing you had done, bungee jumping, for example, share this with the interviewer. It makes a difference. Okay. Okay. The don'ts tip. Again, I would like to just remind all of you the Facebook updates, Instagram update, the pictures you uploaded is very important. Yeah. Do not be sensitive to all these pictures or updates that you portray. Now, the other thing is, please do not mention your political or your religious affiliations, your beliefs. Do not. This is sensitive. Try not to avoid it as best as you can. Okay. Now, I've also been judges for some competitions in the factory. I've seen people during interviews also memorizing words to words, from the CVs. Very robotic. No. Remember, as I've told you, when you're in the interview, presume that you are actually an employee in the factory. So what can you do as an employee to the company? Yeah. Do not memorize. Just be yourself. Take it as a storytelling. Talk to them freely. Okay. Okay. Right, I would like to just skip this topic. It's because some of it are repeated. Yeah. Okay, this is an important topic, talking about behavior interview, because this is usually the process of what interviewers look at in all of us. Okay. Okay. Now, this is important. Some of the questions during interview for behavior interview, it is in a method of STAR. I will run through what is STAR in the next slide. Yeah, this is the technique, yeah, of answering from the angle of behavior interview. It asks you to describe a situation. Okay, they will ask you a situation and would like you to describe, and then they will ask you, what were the problems that you have encountered? Okay, and then thirdly, they will ask you, how did you handle the problem? And lastly, they will ask you, what was the result? And describe the actions that you have done to take control of the situation. This is the usual questions that I would like all of us to pay attention. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. This is called behavior interviews that usually happens in an interview. Okay, this is what I mean by STAR. It's called situation or task action results. Yeah? A situation is being asked. What were the tasks that was given to you? It's going to be also checked in with you. And what were the actions that you have taken? And what were the results? So it's very important to make sure when you conduct interviews, talk about situation, talk about all these key points. Remember STAR. Yeah. Okay, this is just a repeat so that you remember the most 3 important items, what you did and the outcome of it. Okay, next one. Questions to ask. Now, although we know that you had done your research, interviewer may have answered some of your questions during the interview session, but it's important to show that you have some questions to ask. Yeah, therefore, please go in interviews with some questions readily prepared. You must have some questions, at least 1 or 2, to knock down the interviewer, to ask the interviewer. Okay. Now, you should also know then to check in with the interviewer, the outcome of the interview must ask, and check in also if you are successful. Would there be another round of interview? This would show that you are being proactive and that you are interested to know of the job and wanting to hear from the interviewer. Okay. Okay, now the below tips, yeah, these are some of the questions that is also important for you to know your coming environment, your coming boss, your future boss, how these people are. So it is important to check in, yeah. Example questions like, what are the qualities you expect in your employees? Ask the interviewer, what kind of qualities do they expect in the employees? Yeah, and secondly, ask, will there be any kind of trainings, job rotation available in the company? Ask. This would show that you're keen to learn. Yeah. And the other questions that you could ask, how would you define your management style? That means asking the interviewer, what is the management style of the interviewer, of your hiring manager? Ask him to explain to you. Then he will tell you, I'm a person who likes punctuality. I'm a person with KPI who likes all KPIs to be met in time. I'm a person that. Therefore, this will prepare you. If at all you are being selected, these are the traits that you must have. Is because your boss is like that. Okay. Okay. Then it is also important to understand what is next. Okay. Now I shall come back to this topic. We spoke about this at the first page. Now it is very, very important. Now, why I say this is because during the 1 hour interview or so, it is very subjective and it is very unclear how much or if is it 100% that we could access you. We do not know if for example, if you are the real key candidate that we want to hire, we cannot deduce 100%. Now, but because majority of, I will not say majority, I'm sorry, some people could lie. Some people are very good in sales and marketing. Some people give lip service. So the CVs look great, the interview sessions looks great, but putting the person on the job will be a testing is because some could not perform. This is reality. Interviews, they flying colors. They come for second round interview flying colors. It's because some of it are not truthful. Now, so some interviewers would actually ask you questions from this angle, from this aspect. This is where you cannot lie. Some interviews would check in with you to ask, what is your conduct? How do you handle your parents? Or when you answer them, you talk about bringing your parents to hospital, or even if you talk about, for example, in one of your articulation talking to them, you could say that, for example, if I'm in a meeting, if my phone rings and it's from my mother, I will excuse myself to take the call from my mother. Example. These are all good traits that the interviewer would see, and that determines whether you're a good son or a good daughter. Because again, like I say, a good son or a good daughter is a good employee. That is without doubt. Yeah. And the other thing is, I would like to also share with all of you. This is actually, I think, all of the teachers and the interviewers that has gone through the mock interview this morning would agree with me. Majority of all successful employer, the directors of the company, the vice president of the company, the senior managers, the management team, the high level position are all good sons and daughters. Because in my interaction with them, I check in, I speak to them, they tell me stories about the parents, tell me stories about how they bring parents to buy supplements, to go for checkups, So you'll be surprised. The higher they go, the more humble they become. So these are the traits that we want in you to be a good employee. So that make sure the portion of taking care of your parents is done 100%. Yeah, no qualms about that. Okay, now this is also another last few. I only have another last 2 page. Now this is important. It's because this is the future. The future is talking about the digital technology transforming the world. Why I mentioned about cloud, why I mentioned about connectivity, AI, and the data sciences is because these are what the transformation of the era right now is getting into. For example, the cloud is talking about the computer system, the resources, especially the data storage, computing, the power, and etc. Connectivity, this is important now. Why? It's because of the wireless. Thanks to 5G, there's a reason why we could have this live streaming. So it talks about delivering high data speed. AI is very important. Talks about the theory of development of computer systems able to perform tasks which is done usually done by human intelligence, but now taken over by a certain efficiency in terms of, like example, speech recognition or visual perception. So these are all of the new technology that is advancing. We call it the future. Yeah. So I am not saying that other fields are not important. Other fields are equally important, but the 4 items here are the future. Yeah. Okay, this last slide of mine talks about the enforcing, strengthening of what I mentioned earlier. If you could see, the semiconductor industry, the pharmaceutical, personal product, software, and technology hardware. These are the top five industry or future that is coming up soon. So the cloud, the connectivity, 5G, AI, data sciences is definitely important. So if you are selected for any kind of interviews, please make sure you study all these 4 important items, relate to any of these topics during your interview. Must do, because this is the future technology of the current era. Yeah. So with this, I actually end my session, and I do not have anything else to present. I think I've covered some important elements that you could take back with you in good use. So before I end, Puan Aisyah, back to you if you'd like to open up any questions and answers from them. And yeah.
Okay, I would like to mention that students and teachers, please write down your name and your school's name together with the states that you are presenting so that we know where you're from. And then I would like to say really sorry for the technical glitches just now. Okay, I sounded like Doraemon or what? You know, it's like a cartoon character. So yeah, things to be faced during online session. Okay, all right. I can see some of the students here. Renuka Santira Raja, thank you for sharing some beneficial tips, Madam Ilham. It's helped youngsters prepare for online interviews in the new norm. Thank you. I can see Madam Silva Malar, okay, Ahmad Izzuddin, Iqbal Kaur Chanan Singh from Bujang Miri. Yes. Lastly, we can see viewers from Sabah and Sarawak. Okay, Madam Khalifah Mastura from College Matrikulasi Kejuruteraan Kedah, thank you very much. Now, I saw one of the question, Madam Ilham, from my student, I think, Azrin. How to overcome nervousness? Can you comment on that?
Okay, thank you, Puan Aisyah. You know, Puan Aisyah, I will start again with a story. I have got 4 kids, as you have mentioned, so I like to tell story because students could relate to story. Yeah, thank you for the questions. Nervousness, to be truthful to you, I'm sure all of the other interviewers would agree with me. Even up to until today, I'm also still nervous. Yeah, in fact, right now, I'm also nervous. Okay, I would like to tell you an experience. When I was traveling to Germany, to Amsterdam for some meetings, I had an important presentation to share with the big bosses in Germany. Yes, I was nervous, but I did my job. I did the 3 things that I mentioned earlier. I did my research, I did my planning, I practiced. So even in the aeroplane, as I was in the aeroplane, I did not waste time. I studied. I read through, yeah. But I would say the most important thing, sorry, who was the student's name, Puan Aisyah?
I think it's Muhammad Azrin.
Azrin, okay, Azrin. My take to you is, I would like to share with you a little secret, a good secret to be shared. Now, even to have this session today, I actually made a call to my mother, and I told my mother that I was having this session. Why I called to my mother is because, Izrin, I wanted the blessings from her. Most importantly, I only have one parent. So I called her to ask for blessings. I said, Mom, please pray for me. I have this upcoming session, so date and what time, and I need your prayers. Okay, so when I am blessed with prayers from my parents, yeah, number one, most importantly, I have confidence because I know my biggest, strongest support system is behind me. It's my mother. Yeah, and number 2, yes, go back to the research, planning and practice. You must do that, Izrin. Inshallah, you will be successful. Yes.
Okay, one more question. This is written in Malay. Assalamualaikum semua. Saya ada soalan. Apakah ciri-ciri resume yang baik?
Okay. Puan Aisyah, CVs, you know, we have received many CVs, thousands of CVs, yeah. And I think it is easily available, fellow students. I think you could Google, you could check it out. And one of the latest CV that I saw from LinkedIn, yeah, I like to share with all of you. A very creative students from the local university actually created her CV, miming and depicting, as in a video sharing of what she does. So she talks about herself in a video format. She talks about what she does. She talks about her strength. It is all in a very short, precise video mode, and it is uploaded into the LinkedIn. So when I saw this, I was impressed. Is because nowadays is digital era. So it is good for you to do something different, share it in that sense. So while she was sharing, she had also some background display, you know, talking, for example, my strengths are, for example, communication. So there's a word appearing, communication. I am good into, example, multiple skills. So is translated. So these are some of the new ways. Please check into Google some new forms of attracting employers to your CV. Yeah.
Okay, the next one. Thanks, Puan, for the valuable tips. What are the advantages and challenges with millennials entering the job market? Okay, so this is the Z generation, digital generation. So, what are the advantages and challenges of these people at the
Okay.
moment?
Very interesting question, Puan Aisha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I've got to be very transparent to all students and the generation. Why? Now, try to avoid questions like pay, yeah, because these are the people, they are big spenders, seriously. They have very high, good gadgets. So sometimes you come into interviews, you tend to ask about salary, yeah. And number two, you sometimes avoid asking about things like what are the benefits, the perks. You can ask those questions once we have secured the job. When HR calls you for job offer, yes, you can talk about it. But at the front of the interview, these are turn-off factors. Yeah, talking about salary, talking about can I go back early, talking about what are my leave entitlement. No, talk about the job. Yeah, show interest. All of what I've said in my deck earlier will be helpful to you. Talk about the job. Sell yourself. Make yourself the yellow person that I've shared. How can you sell? For example, when I share, if I may, yeah. I know students now is very challenging going out to the job. It's because everybody else is also applying for the job. Yeah, so you are fresh. You do not have experience, but you have experience. For example, you have helped your parents, or your auntie or uncles into online, maybe online selling of items or whatever, or even helping parents at Bazaar Ramadan. This would be a good example. Yeah. So do not shy off. Do not think that this is a low graded job, no brainer job. No. So during interviews, tell all these things, because what it talks about time management, talks about multitasking, it talks about how you work with people, you engage with people. So do not be shy, talk about it, but put it in a different way. Yeah. So sometimes students do not see, they are embarrassed, they're shy to share things like this. Okay, another thing, you could see my chair behind. This is actually a gaming chair. Gaming chair. So I have
Yeah.
kids who likes to play games, video games. So even video games, my fellow students, put video games to good use, which means when you talk about when you talk to the interviewers, you have nothing to share. You don't have skills, but you are good skills. You are a good YouTuber. You're a good person who plays video. Yeah, talk about how you strategize your weapons, how you work into a team to strategize yourself, to defend yourself against the enemies. Yeah, so these are things that you can speak about. So do not say saya tak ada benda nak cakap, saya tak buat apa-apa, saya tak ada skill. No, no, no. Each and every one of you have the skill. So sell it. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Puan Aisha.
Okay, all right. From Rizwan Nasir, hi, Assalamualaikum, Madam. If you can read from the screen, ya. Katakanlah kita dalam interview untuk setengah kursus, ya. Bagaimana kita nak jawab soalan bila interviewer tanya, kenapa pilih subjek ini atau course ini? Bagaimana nak menjawabnya?
Sorry, could you just repeat the question, Puan Aisha?
Yeah, if this student going for an interview and the interviewer ask him, why do you want to join for this course? What are the reasons? How to answer that?
Okay. Now, sometimes Rizwan. Now, taking up certain courses is actually to your passion, yeah, to your likings, yeah. So it is important for you to apply a job that is suitable to your likings. Yeah. So say for example, if you like to communicate, you are a person who likes to stand out and talk, you like to do sales. Yeah. You don't land up in a job as an engineer. You don't go for a job as an engineer. You go for the right job. Then you can fit in to whatever courses that you have, then you could relate it. Because if you like sales, you like to talk about, you like to present, but you are applying for a job that is different from that it is out of connection, then it will not be beneficial. So try to link up to what you have taken courses and to go for the right jobs. Yeah, it is important. But for example, again, like I mentioned earlier, where my girl had some engineering or quality background, you could sell. This is to show that, even though you are going, for example, business admin, but you have an engineering background, it could also help in a way. Yeah, do not be shy. Just talk truthfully from your heart. This is the passion that you have. This is what you like to do. Yeah.
Okay, another question from Shan Bagavali Kunimar Madan. Madam, how's the future going to be for the university students to do their internships in companies during this MCO?
Okay, I can talk about Lumileds. It's because I'm from Lumileds.
Yes,
For your
sure.
information, we have now, let me see, about 30 over interns. From UTP, we have students from Universiti Tenaga. We have multiple students all over universities in Lumileds today, 30 over. And I am sure other manufacturers or factories are also hiring students for internship. Yeah, so I believe it's normal for you to write in, to apply, and that you'll be called for interviews. Yes. So please conduct some of the tips that I've shared with you during the interviews. Yeah.
Okay, one more from Nur Fatihah. Madam, I have a question. What's the best way to impress the interviewer? Is there any good tips regarding your manner of speaking? Yeah.
Okay, it's actually confidence, Fatihah. Now, I would like to just again share with you. Even today, we have engineers, an engineer, a full-blown engineer in the office, but they speak broken English. Yeah, they don't speak five-star English. No, but it's okay. It's okay. Most important thing is they understand you. So even in the broken English, or you call it Manglish, or even Bahasa, it's okay. Most important thing is confidence, and knowledge. That's most important. So doesn't mean before going for interview, you've got to go and brush up your English skills to be a 5-star English. No, it's okay. Yes, do some homework, but it need not be 5-star. So just be yourself. If you have to mix intermittent of some little bit of bahasa or broken English, it's okay. The penyampaian, the confidence, the knowledge is important. Yeah, so don't worry so much about my English is not perfect. It's okay because we today in the factory, I think all of you will agree. We also have managers with broken English, so it's okay. Paling penting is, confidence.
All right. I just want to mention the viewers here. Puan, do the second class upper and lower CGPA holders are in losing ground compared to students with 3.0 and above? Kiran, yeah, thank you for the questions.
Kiran, I would encourage you to look onto Mark Twain. I don't know whether you know Mark Twain. Okay. Now, Mark Twain, one of the things that he has mentioned is talking about education. Yeah, teachers, I think perhaps you would know. You know why? I'm sorry to say, but I think it's only true. Education or academic is not everything. It's not everything. I have also mentioned earlier to all of you that co-curriculum is also important because it helps to bring out the collaborationers, the leadership in you. Not all top scorer students have this quality, and not people who lack academic are also not good all the way. No. Yeah. So it is important for all of you to know academic is not everything, but a balance of academic and also your, what do you call it in bahasa? Apa tu Puan Aisyah? Sikap apa? I'm lost of words. Your etika diri you is also important. So if you come in for a job seriously with a 4-pointer, yes, I will look at it. Yeah, as a hiring manager, I'm called the hiring manager or HR. I will look at it. Yeah, I will say good. But if you can't articulate, if you're not a good son, or even if you're not a good daughter, when I ask you questions, you cannot. Even if you're a top scorer, I will not hire you. I will not hire you. Yeah, so it is important to have that balance. If you're a top scorer, you have a good attitude, that is a bonus. Yeah, but if you're not, it's okay. Give your best, conduct your best, be truthful, be honest, and be sincere. And again, like I mentioned, if Allah has stated that it's your rezeki, it's your rezeki. You'll be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Next one from Nisa Isilia. How to be confident?
Hi, Nisa. How are you? Okay. Yeah. Confidence is actually through. This is my point of view. Through experience lah. Through experience. Yeah. So sometimes students shy off during. I can just relate to the 5 interviewees I had earlier. For example, if I would ask you, what does your parent do? Yeah, one student shared that. Yeah, my dad works in University. USM Transkorean. Full stop. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with sharing. What is he doing in Transkorean? Explain. People are shy, so you shouldn't feel shy. Just talk to the interviewer. He's a lecturer, or he does what da 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 da. And another student, after that, when I corrected him to say it's okay to talk, just talk. So in my second round of interview, I think who was it? Izhan. Yeah, I asked him, what do you like to do after your form 6? Yeah, he mentioned I like to go to Japan. He started from there on. He became very confident. I like to go to Japan is because why? He started talking to go to Japan is because I like to see the culture. I like to see people. I like the way they work. Yeah. So this is how you should explain. It's okay to just talk it out. There's no right or wrong. You'll be surprised. Interviewers are actually very nice people. We don't eat you. It's okay to share stories. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, one more question from Aiman Sharon. My question, in your opinion, Madam Ilham, is the job market look promising for the Z generation, especially during this pandemic?
Okay, this is a tough last one. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I would like to go back to my last 2-pager of the deck, talking about the future. Yeah, the future. Again, the future is talking about the digital era, talking about AI and blah blah blah. Yeah, cloud, about data sciences. So these are the future that is booming. Puan Aisha, I will answer in this manner. So which means we have got to keep on developing, keep on advancing ourselves. Yeah, I will give you a scenario of this. Today, if I were to hire a person, an engineer or HR, let me talk about HR because I'm a person from HR. Now, those days, HR is called personnel management. Yeah, personnel management. So I don't need a person to be very skillful in terms of VLOOKUP. I don't need a person to be able to do mail merging. I just need a clerk and I can run personal management. But today, with all this cloud connectivity, AI, data sciences, today when I hire a person, I would hire a person like Sok Ching, who has this engineering background, who was a customer quality. I would hire a little bit of an upgraded person. So this would tell you that we need to continuously learn to upgrade ourselves, because whatever skills or ability that we have 10 years or 15 years ago, today in this era, it may be a challenge to sustain with just that knowledge because it's advancing. So if you go for interviews today, if you have a little bit more of advantage in your hand, they would be of useful to you. Yeah, so it has to be keep on learning. Yes, it is a challenge right now, to be truthful, because there are just so many people out there competing. So you must have that little advantage or the edge in you to sell yourself.
Okay, from Hakimi Muhammad, Madam, we still have question. My question is, between graphic resume and old type of resume, which one is better to use nowadays? How can we maximize our information in graphic CV? Yes, very good question, Hakimi.
Hakimi, you must be an IT freak. So yeah, Hakimi, good question. Yes, try to be an advancement. You have got to be evolving. Those resumes during my time or Puan Aisha's time is a little bit outdated. You got to be a bit trendy right now to keep up with the technology, keep up with the advancement of how today's CV is. I think best is to check out from Google and whatnot. But CV again is one thing. CV is only a portion of it. Most importantly is, yeah, you attract the person, yes, with a CV. Yes, that's number one. But most importantly is when you are there, you must make sure you know how to articulate, know how to present what have you put into all those graphics. Yeah, and try to highlight in your resume. Do not write too lengthy, too long. What are the things in there, your achievement that you have done, the great things that you have done, throw in there. Try to make it visible and stand out, because you want to sell, to attract, because your CV is the first data point of the hiring managers.
Okay, from Nurul Wazna, I think this is very unique question. Hi, if the interviewee has certain disability like hearing impaired, does the interviewee need to tell the interviewer before the session started or tell only when asked?
Nurul Wazna, I applaud you. Thank you for bringing this question. I thank you so much, Nurul Wazna. It's because Lumileds, I am proud to share with all of you, fellow audiences, we do hire this, we call it HMT. These are the hearing impaired employees. We do have a group of them in Lumileds today. So I applaud whoever who has this, to me, I would say, special group of hearing disabled people. Please reach out to Lumileds. We welcome you to be part of our employment, because the social responsibility, as I mentioned earlier, is key to Lumileds. We not only give opportunity to a physical complete person, but we also give opportunity to this special ability. So you'll be surprised in the market today. People are looking. People want to help because of this social responsibility commitment of this disabled. No, I dislike to use the word disabled, to this special group of people. So yes, please make known. Sometimes this criteria would be the edge for you in applying for the job. Yeah.
Okay, from Alia Irdina, during interview session, is there any time limit?
Again, I think Alia, the body language is important. When you are being interviewed, when you talk, you could actually see the interviewer. If more or less you could see the sign of the interviewer being is proactive, who seems encouraging, who seems interested to your question, go on. And but if you see the sign language is like slouching, a little bit bored, then you know you've got to change the topic. Now, Alia, I just want to also maybe bring you to an experience from my son. This is a group interview, for one of the local university. Now, in a group interview, again, standing out is important. Yeah. So you imagine the panel of three interviewers sitting in rounds and rounds and rounds of students. Yeah. So it's a bore, because everybody would say, I'm a good leader. I communicate very well. I can do all tasks in time. Everybody will be talking the same thing. But where is the evidence? The evidence is important. Otherwise, all 100 students will talk about the same thing. So I more or less prepared my son, because I want him to stand out. As how I'm talking to all of you, I want all of you to stand out during interviews. Yeah. So I told him that you have something in you. His name is Daniel, by the way. You have something in you that you can actually sell during the interview. So please make sure you sell that. So true enough, when he sat in during interview, he has a little bit of an experience. How shall I say? A little bit of experience being attached to a hospital, to a private hospital, where he had actually seen how the doctors. He had observed how the circumcision, in bahasa you call it sunat, proses sunat dilakukan. Yeah. So he actually observed, he had the opportunity to be an observer. So during the interview, he sold this. He told the interviewers that he actually had the opportunity, and he saw what he saw, his observation. Yeah, he didn't conduct, he didn't hold any scissors or cotton. No. It was an observation. But I told him, sell this point. So you imagine the interviews were slouching, they were bored, they were sleepy because of too many rounds of interviews. So when he mentioned about this topic, he mentioned that interviewers started to pay attention, sit up straight, and what do you have again? You buat kat mana? They started being interested. So kalau you ada benda-benda macam ni dalam diri you, for example, you tolong mak bapak you kat bazar Ramadan, you tolong kakak you buat online business, yeah, share all these things. This is to show that you are actually rajin. You want to improve yourself. So sell all these things. Jangan malu, jangan segan. Cakap, cerita, yeah. Okay, Puan Aisyah, I think I'm done.
Okay, very interesting session, but there is one more, madam. I couldn't resist to this one. Caroline Antonesami, dear ma'am, lovely topic here. I'm wondering, is it true that current generation are choosy? That is why I keep reading in the papers related to reason for unemployment rate. Are Malaysians choosy? What is your comment?
I hire Malaysians. I don't think Malaysians in general are choosy. Maybe some who are spoiling the market. Yeah, like people say, students are not ready coming up for interview. They don't speak English. They are not ready. It's more of doing a little bit more of homework lah, to all of you students. Yeah. I will not say in general Malaysians are lazy. They are, but polish yourself, and since you know people are talking about this topic, since you know people are talking about Malaysian lazy, since you know people are talking about fresh grads not being ready, so do your homework, counter that. So when you go for interview, use this as a topic to show the interviewer. For example, sorry, who was the person again? Caroline, was it?
Yes, Caroline.
Caroline, so use this topic, Caroline. It's a good topic that you have brought up. Very good, intelligent question. So talk to the interviewers. You know, say for example, Puan Ilham, I read through, you know, Malaysians are lazy, difficult to get a job. But I kind of disagree with this topic is because share your views with them. Yeah, because you know this is what the heated topic right now. So answer and counter. Go in prepared to counter that you guys are not in this mode as what many people are thinking. Yeah. That will be my answer, Puan Aisha.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. I think we have answered a lot of questions. So for the viewers out there, please fill in the link for your teacher and student voice. Okay, that would be my voice. Please fill in the links. We would like to know what do you think about this project and this session. Okay, so if you can see at the chat box there, link untuk maklum balas. Okay, and also for the teachers out there, we also provide you all with the SPL KPM for your registration. So please do that. Okay, so we have from Sarawak, Sabah, and also from Kulim Kedah, Shua Polytechnic, Tuanku Sultanah Bahia, Poderini, Saminathan. Thank you very much. All right, I just mentioned earlier, we did the simulation of online mock interview. So I would like to announce the best speaker for each schools. All right, so students, listen carefully. For Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Serdang, the best speaker is Miss Shafika Zulkifli. Number 2, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Sultan Ahmad Tajuddin, Miss Farah Wardina binti Ahmad Nizam. Number 3, from SMK Sungai Kop, Tiffany anak perempuan Siman. Number 4, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Labu Besar, Muhammad Aidil Hakim bin Ahmad Shukri. And from SMK Keladi Form 6, Mr. Muhammad Aizat Che Azizul. SMK Keladi Form 5, Siti Umairah Kamaruddin. Congratulations to all the best speakers. Okay, thank you very much for your sharing, madam. It is a very fruitful session. Okay, I also would like to thank all of the interviewers, 23 of them. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of the coffee talk session with Madam Wan Ilham. Okay, teachers, please fill in the SPL KPM form and also my voice. Thank you very much for your cooperation. A special thank you to Madam Wan Ilham binti Wan Sulaiman for sharing the valuable information with us today. We hope that all the viewers will remember all the tips given by Madam Ilham just now. Happy Teachers' Day to all dedicated and hardworking teachers. You are the best. Thank you to PPD Kuliah Bandar Baru and also Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Keladi. I also would like to express my utmost gratitude to all teachers from SMK Sungai Kop, SMK Serdang, SMK Labu Besar, SMK Sultan Ahmad Tajuddin, and last but not least, SMK Keladi. You have done a great job for supporting our highly immersive program, which is the online mock interview. Thank you, everyone, especially to the viewers out there all over the nation for joining us today. we will end our coffee talk, the tips for online interview. Thank you very much, Madam. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a very good day. Sign off.